I can't believe we've been downgraded from TSA to mall cops.
¿Cuántos años nosotros trabajamos juntos? Para mi público, obviamente yo sé pregunta. Yo pienso que yo sé.
¿Piensas? ¿Estás seguro o no?
Yo pienso 5, ¿sí?
No, 6.
¿Es 6?
6 años, ajá.
¿Estoy seguro? ¿Estás seguro?
Sí, estoy segura.
Sí, es interesante.
Being an entrepreneur is probably the craziest transition I've ever made in my entire life. 8 years ago, I was an intern at Google and it didn't work out. And I always dreamed that I could come back and right that wrong. And I had the opportunity to finally come back to Seattle, a place that I've always dreamed about. And to my surprise, working at Amazon was not what I thought it would be. I quit because I learned there's more to life than just money, right? There's your health. There's working with people that you don't feel like, that you trust to not betray you, to speak up when someone is treating you wrong. Those things mean the world to me and I'm fighting for it, as well as another thing, balance. Like, I can't even speak about that enough, like how much it means to just be able to work 40 hours and go home and be able to be present with your wife, your family, your kids, your friends. All of that shit means a lot to me. And for that reason, Amazon is no longer an option. I get up, I wouldn't say some weeks I would say I work 60 hours and some weeks like this week, I'm working closer to 20. And yeah, that's crazy, right? I have a limited amount of runway. Luckily, because of my time at Amazon, I was able to save enough where I could take the entire year off and focus on making a business, but it's been anything but smooth sailing. My original goal was to get 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then I can get a contract in order to show an ad in the beginning of my videos. And that has been such a grind for me. Last year, when I was working at Amazon, I made a video, it got 7,000 subscribers, and I didn't even look in the camera right. It was terrible. It was a terrible video, but I think because I was so vulnerable with people that they just connected with it and they shared it and they sent it to other people. And yeah, YouTube for me has been full of ups and downs, filled with me just burning out. Like, and that's another thing they talk about as entrepreneurs. Some people think that if you have a year's time to make a business, that you just need to work 60 hours every week, but not burning out is important as well. Right now, I am working on making a infrastructure SaaS. So in the beginning, I was working on an app that I call DonorSync, and it was the ability to have flat fees for your subscription models. Like, if you imagine a creator on Patreon takes 10 to 12% of creators' money. And my job, or my goal, was to make it so that you could have a flat fee. So if you were a creator and you made $1 million on Patreon, they would take 100,000. But with me, you would only pay me $500. And that, it was a great idea. I got lots of great feedback. But I think the issue with that is that I did not get anything to market fast enough, which I dislike. Donors think, and I'm not saying that you can't make a, there are people, there are indie hackers, there are businessmen that say, if you cannot turn in your MVP in 3 to 5 days or a week, then you're not building a good product. And I feel like I've learned that the hard way. I think because I used to work at like Amazon and Twitch and Google, I felt like I was a lot better than a Peter Levels, right? If you don't know who Peter Levels is, he's somebody who makes 10 to 20 grand a month, or maybe even 100 grand over his different software as a service products. He has a site where you can just post jobs, and he has reported to making 20K a month from that. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm better than this guy. Like, I can spend 6 months doing something, but I can't tell you how frustrating it is to see your bank account drain and you're working on a project and you just don't know whether it's going to make it or not. You're not getting customer feedback yet. I just don't think that was the right use of my time, and I ended up pivoting. Then I pivoted to an app I call Being Tracks. It was going to be the Ruby of Rails for agentic programming, and I'm still working on that. But I pivoted again to working on Infraglue. So I went all the way from working on these high-tech technologies to going to make things that are niche in need and are upcoming. They're easy to explain. So I have 4 apps. One of them is called Easy Throttle. It's going to distribute your requests across many distributed machines. Think, instead of a DDoS attack, think of it like a polite throttler so that you can have your requests. And as we have these LLM agents and what is it? As we have these LLM agents and spot scrapers in the future, they're going to need to be throttled correctly. They have to hit a website as fast as possible, so they probably want to queue up some of their information towards me. Then I have another app idea. That shouldn't take too long. I think it's going to take me 2 weeks. I have another app idea where you have a metrics observability service such that you can track usage. Think Datadog, but a lot simpler, a lot more minimalistic. And I was going to build Stripe and affiliated marketing into that. So it could be, instead of you having to build all that logic yourself, you can just use mine and you can launch your product in a weekend and have your customers sell it. I think it's another strong idea. Then, what else am I working on? Oh, there's this regional scaler. I have a regional scaler that distributes requests closest to the users on fly.io. I'm hoping that I think if I had to choose my destiny, I think I'm going to be a partner for fly.io in the next 2 years. Just because some of the apps that I'm making, if you don't know Fly, they are a cloud that is way better for indie hackers and developers. Instead of you having to wait a long time to get your app running on AWS or GCP, you can do it with a API call. And so, yeah, I think with me building a lot of edge computing infra services, I think this is going to be a perfect partnership one day. But today I have nothing. Yeah, there's a lot of, being an entrepreneur isn't for everybody. There's a lot of heartbreaks involved. There's a lot of uncertainty. I know for a fact that I could be broke and I might have to get a job, but I have time. I'm hoping that I can find contracts for $100 to $125 an hour, which, if I specialize my skill set, is not a stretch. It's just going to take time. Also, I want it for 10 to 20 hours a week. It's something that gives me time to work on my project while also working on something that I love. Yeah. I love doing BJJ, and I do it from Monday to Saturday. I go every night. And it's interesting. Like, what you're seeing here is me going up against a black belt. I finally got him to pull guard, and I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, by the way. And you see here, I just partially swept him, and I'm finna just roll around and choke him out, do my thing. And
it was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Of course, when the video is on, these black belts are acting like it is worlds. They're acting like it's worlds, like it's so bad to lose to a purple belt. You can see here Chris, my friend, passing my guard really quickly. And yeah, Chris makes sure that once he gets past, he does not spend a lot of time allowing you to wait. And yeah, it's over. That was probably one of the better matches that I've had against Chris. Oh my goodness. Like, I don't know. I guess as a competitor, I'm always believe that I can beat some guy, right? But yeah, it seems like what I've learned in jiu-jitsu is a lot of humility, a lot of me appreciating that it takes time for things to work. And that's why I love my business, is that I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 5 years. And yeah, it's been a crazy journey. Like after 5 years, I can say that I've gone from beginner to master. And although I'm not a black belt, I have I've achieved a level of mastery worthy of a purple belt. And so, yeah, I have more clips. I have more clips of me beating up some blue belts, but I was just like, do you guys really need to see that? You probably don't even understand exactly what's going on here anyway. But, oh my God, this guy is going in. But yeah, I'm making a director's cut version where it's 30 minutes long so you guys can see me kicking ass. But yeah, I just wanted to just show you a bit of the humility aspects of me working in jiu-jitsu and what it meant to me. Like, a lot of times when I'm in a bad mood and I come in and I do jiu-jitsu, it makes me completely, it grounds me. It's like I can stop thinking about all the things that's going wrong in my life and just focus on beating or beating my opponent or surviving against my opponent. So, yeah, I think business shouldn't be just you eating peanut butter sandwiches in your room and just working 10 to 12 hours a day, because that's a recipe for burnout. But yeah, I think if I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu, man, I feel like I would have burnt out a long time ago. And yeah, this is my this is my journey. Yeah. if you can imagine a poker player, if you don't really bet money and you risk, you don't understand what it takes to be a professional poker player. You could win a whole lot of great hands when nothing is on the line, but when things are on the line, it changes your perspective completely. You have to play the game. You have to take risk. When I talk to my mentors, when I talk to the older generation, I think they see me as somebody who's lazy, as this guy that is doing something that's not going to work and is lost. And I don't know. I disagree. You know, I feel like most of those guys don't know. They don't know what it's like to run a business. Or some of them do, but they don't know what it's like to run a business in 2025. It's a lot different from when my parents were growing up. Like, if you needed to have a business, you had to study under somebody for a very long time. And then before you jumped out into doing that business, you had to be making a certain amount of money every month. And I think that would have been a safer bet. Like, I'll be honest with you. I've spent probably 30, 40 grand in my first 6 months as an entrepreneur, and I have nothing to show for myself. And that's embarrassing. So I generally have Spanish class Tuesdays and Thursdays. My teacher, Ana Maria, is from Spain. And yeah, we've been working together for, she says 6 years. I've completely forgotten. It's been a long time. But yeah, all we do is talk. And as you can see, I stumble across my words a lot. I don't think this is one of my better days for speaking Spanish, but it is what it is. Like, some days I feel off, some days I feel really good. And yeah, I think this has taught me a lot about the world. Like, learning Spanish makes me realize there's more, how isolated that we view the world in America. Like, there's other people in this world who are living lives, and theirs is just as important as mine. Like, maybe sometimes their problem is even worse than mine. And it's taken me, if I've been studying Spanish for like 6 years, man, then
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley, sí.
Yeah, I remember there were many days when I was speaking Spanish that I was just like, I'll never get it. I'll never be good enough. I'll never be able to speak Spanish properly. I don't know how these guys learned it. Like, people tell you you can't speak Spanish well if you're learning later in life. And I just think that's so incorrect. Obviously, I'll never sound like a native, but I've come a long way. I think I can communicate with people. Do I? Some things I don't understand completely when she is talking, but I can carry a conversation, you know, and I think I could go a long way in another country.
Eu vou descrever mi ciudad como un lugar como muchas personas se gusta visitar, pero personas no.
Me and my Spanish teacher, we talk about TV, we talk about
what is the word?
Love, we talk about the weather. You know, some of our conversations can go quite shallow and sometimes quite deep. And yeah, I really appreciate her. I really see her more as a friend than as a teacher at this point. But I don't know. It's kind of weird to say you pay your friend, but whatever. You know, she means a lot to me, and I hope that I can carry this conversation for, who knows, the next decade.
En mi ciudad, ajá.
es posible como si los parejas son in the middle class, en la
La clase media.
media, en la clase media, va a tener una oportunidad para comprar una casa. Pero sí, no sé. Yo pienso que una casa no es todo que piense en el pasado. Pero sí, yo pienso que la mayoría de personas debería tener una oportunidad para comprar una casa. Pero sí, tal vez yo vea un otro tema es Estados Unidos per se como un país, como los negocios puede destruir vida o sí, es una ciudad muy capitalismo,
Muy capitalista.
muy capitalista.
I don't know if my business is going to fail. I don't know what's going to happen to me in the future if I keep living this on the edge. You know, the models tell me that I have genius within me and all I need is time. But when I look at my family, they seem like they're disappointed in me for spending my money, even though I have not asked them for anything. But they are right. In a sense, I think that the worst case scenario, I spend all my money and I go back to corporate with well-polished skills, a new business acumen. I don't think that's a bad life for me. Obviously, I want to win, but I acknowledge that nothing that I'm doing is a guarantee. And that's okay. That's part of being an entrepreneur. And if you need guarantees, you can go back to work. If you want more safety, I can always go back to work. But right now, I really feel like I can be somebody in the world that changes it for the better. And that's never going to happen if I continue working a job.
All right. What is a location where you see a lot of people?
Airport.
Here, airport.
Improv is probably one of my favorite activities. I feel like when I was at Amazon, you know, I was burnt out. Sometimes I was just having an awful fucking day. And I would go to improv and it would help me be social, laugh, you know, get some of that and realize that Amazon isn't everything.
Jake, when we dedicated our lives to TSA.
I know. Since we were kids, it was always, I'm going to be checking those bags. I'm stopping everyone from bringing on nail clippers.
When I was in Memphis, I could not do improv. I think there were no friendly classes. I think there was a group, but I don't know if I'll continue doing improv, but I'm so glad that I got the experience doing this in my life. At least one time.
I'm losing hair.
Well, if you want to retire, that's fine, but...
I'm only 45.
45?
Yeah. I was a slow child. I was held back a couple years.
Okay, Jim. But I've been hearing that we have like a DEFCON threat alert, and if we can survive this week, then you can retire.
They need me?
Yeah, they need you.
They need Jake to do all the scanning. Do you think they'd let me take the little dog around too? The bag?
Sniff? Yeah, the dog, you know. Twinkles. Yeah, bring him.
All right, let's go. We're gonna handle this. We're gonna get through this week. We're gonna get to an international airport.
Una!
Hi!
She invited me to her place.
We had a good party together.
Right.
Rami's a really good birthday guest.
Turn up. He invited me to his place too. He's not Russian.
I don't understand.
Yeah, handheld. What are those called again?
Gimbals.
Gimbals.
You'd be losing money if you didn't.
What?
I should be in charge of the house. I thought I should be in charge of the house.
We're just clapping. So improv kind of reminds me of volleyball. You have to be really coordinated with your team and listen and be ready to adapt. Sometimes you want to take charge in case your team members are lost. And sometimes you want to take a back seat in case your team members are really shining. You know, I made a lot of bonds and I truly do miss them. I'm sad that I can't keep those friends with me as I go to another place.
Hello. Can I please get a suggestion of a place where you would run into a friend?
Public market.
Thank you, Gamal.
All right, let's clap for that.
I can't believe we've been downgraded from TSA to mall cops.
The nightlife in Seattle is so beautiful. I generally like to spend my nights here, you see in Capitol Hill, and in Fremont at Salsa con Todo. I love dancing. I love bachata. Yep. Bachata has been just a release from conformity, you know, feeling sexy, being happy. These things I feel like are some of the fundamental principles of being a great dancer. And it's tough. Like, you see men, women, even myself, my journey, like feeling worthy, feeling like somebody desires you is tough. Especially if you come from a more traditional background. But yeah, in Seattle, you see a lot of interesting things. You see different dance styles. It's such a dance city. You see men dancing with men, and you just learn to not judge and to be thankful. You know, I'll say that it's one thing way better than where I come from, Memphis, Tennessee. If you are somebody from the future who wants to wonder why I'm so successful there, I'll just say I took risks. You know, I lived my life to the fullest. I did not treat money as this thing that something to hoard, something to have just in case something goes wrong. I treated my money as something to trade to get me better opportunities and new understanding. And so I understand that this style of business is controversial. Perhaps we haven't seen it work at a high level, but I think I want to be an example for you guys. I want to change the game. I want to build software such that it'll be easier for people to find 10 to 15 hour contracts in the future so they don't have to work as hard as I did. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you are looking for a contractor who is experienced with Elixir, Python, Java, Golang, React, and you're willing to pay $100 an hour for somebody with background at the highest echelon of tech companies such as Amazon, Twitch, Google, I have linked my contracting profile below. I would love if you could like and share this video. If you have anybody in mind who you think I might be a great fit for, I would love to hear it in the comments. And yeah, I know I have not won yet, but if you're somebody that is scared to take that first step as a dreamer, all I can tell you is to go for it. We only have one life to live, and We should not be spending our lives working in a toxic job, giving them things that they don't even respect in our life. Love you guys.